The Red Sharpie out and ready to go. Phish, the second night here in Alpharetta. They now head on to Hampton for three more. All right, but before we get there, we have to talk about this second night. Now, after last night's show, I was very hyped about last night's show. So many of my favorite songs packed all into one set. And then also, while I did say maybe they lacked a little creativity last night with everything just a jam building to a big crescendo, it seemed like all night long. A little different tonight, certainly some creativity being shown off and early and often, Wolfman's brother making us think, well, here we go. We are going to be jamming. Felt like, maybe more so than we would get in an opener, obviously. And I thought this is going to be a sign of things to come. We got a nice solid ring in Wolfman's brother. We had a Trey sustaining, 8 to 12 seconds of a sustained note there. So a strong start to the show here, night number 2. So you got tons of jamming over if you went to these two shows, the only two shows you hit, you got a wide variety of things here, really. So, and then Llama, all right, a little bit of a hiccup there at the beginning. Trey, he's ready. He's not ready. All right, he's ready. Maybe it should have been a slow Llama. Who knows? Martian Monster. I'm glad to see Martian Monster sticking around, but boy, I'd love to see it over here at some point, Always happy to hear it, but I just know that there's more they can do with it. Devotion to a Dream. 2025, Devotion to a Dream making a comeback. Been on the shelf for years. It's just sitting there dormant, and it's back. All right. Some people are fans, though. I won't hate on Devotion to a Dream too much. I'm not really a fan, there's certainly worse songs that could make comebacks. And then, so they follow that up with Divided Sky. If you left to go get a drink, go to the bathroom or something, they're rushing you back with the Divided Sky. And they will get the, obviously you're going to get the pause. And most people are going to be cooperative. There was a person or two in there, or 20 or 50, but mostly everybody cooperative for the pause. Still, I just maintain, that is that is one of Phish's greatest driving songs. I don't know, just hitting the road, cranking that up toward those last several minutes. You can get where you need to go. Okay, Axilla 2, unfortunately, another one that's hanging around. There's going to be a theme here. All right, this is hanging around, that's hanging around. Axilla 2, another one that is. All right, I'm getting a little off track here. Maybe just need to focus on what happened tonight. What is this, a history lesson? All right, so Hey Stranger. Can't help you. I have to say it though. I'm glad. And sometimes the new album comes out, the songs are going to get a lot of play. They slowly start to drift away. And Hey Stranger hopefully is not one of those. It has had some stronger appearances for sure. Maybe at some point it could step over here in the second set. But right now, fitting right there, Steam. All right, so the momentum we had built here, now they're just kind of bouncing. Not that every first set has to be just all 1.0. So we got a lot of 1.0 here. It's just they were just kind of bouncing back and forth. Songs I like, songs I don't like. Maybe I don't know. I'm just being a little. Like I said, I knew I wasn't going to be able to be as excited as I was last night. So all right, hooray for Steam. Wilson, we got the Wilson fake out last night. We officially get it here tonight. Not ending the set, but Taste, another strong set ender. One that I don't really consider as a set ender, but that worked there for sure. Another song that I feel like, Taste's always been great, obviously, but maybe it was just sort of running in the, just a song that was, I hate to say average, but maybe average pre-Sphere. Not only has the band kicked it up a notch, certain songs have post-Sphere. So now we get over here to the second set, open it up with Carini, like I said, about the showing some creativity, trying different things. And there was parts in the Carini that were, maybe there was a few lulls, all right. But then I just wish the parts that were cool when they would finally find something, whether if it was Mike or Trey and Paige working together, it just wouldn't stay there for very long. They'd move on over into some more territory. Light, kind of the same, kind of rinse, repeat for Light. Although I'm glad to see Light getting a little bit better treatment. Down here, Light was starting to get a little dull. Lull and dull. That's really what was going on here. All the things, nothing was real big, high energy. There wasn't these big crescendos and white lights, it seemed like every other song like last night. The jams were, They were good. They were trying things. They just, like I said, it just wasn't. They weren't all these big powerhouses. But these two seemed to go together. And then we get down. There was a little finish to Carini here. Don't get carried away with that. I don't. Maybe didn't even deserve a spot on the whiteboard. I guess it did. Deserved a spot, and we needed some filler. All right. So Sandpiper. Those two certainly work together. Speaking of some of my favorite songs, and then, if these two ran together, these two ran together. We picked it up a notch here. Probably the length wasn't as long here. They really took these two for a spin. These two, we get a little more getting down to business. And then Lizards, Trey having really struggling with Lizards a couple times. At one point, he just, kind of shakes his head, laughs in frustration. The crowd even laughs along with him a little, I suppose. You could hear like an audible noise from the crowd. So, all right, it wasn't like the entire song, but it was a very important, crucial part of the song. But at least he acknowledges it. He's not just going to barrel through and be like, what? What'd I do? Well, you fucked up. That's what you did. So look at this. The courage to come right back with You Enjoy Myself. And once again, now I gotta, if I ever would ever bump into one of these guys, see Mike on a golf cart or something, get a chance to ask him a question or two. It's the latest one added to the list. Like, what's up with the jam, post-vocal jam? Like, I like it. Specifically, tonight I liked it, ending a set. That's perfect. They've done it up here, though. They've done it other places within the show. But, yeah, I don't know. It seemed like, well, not that it's the, maybe it was maybe last year. Maybe it happened once, and then there was a gap, and now it's back. And it seems to be here to stay. The post-vocal jam, and You Enjoy Myself. Although sometimes it does make for a more just kind of straightforward You Enjoy Myself. That first part of the song where there's a little opening there for them to get crazy. More often than not, now they don't. But wow, that groove when they get back after the vocal jam, that is just almost perfection. That's why we like Phish. Or at least I do anyhow. And then the Meatstick. We only get one encore. It being Meatstick only. And then, much like the Twist the other night, this is something that felt like it could have been placed all the way up here. They really start to take the Meatstick for a spin, jam it out for, I don't know how long it went, but it wasn't anything extraordinary long. But certainly more than you would think from a Meatstick or an encore. And then boom, end of show. Just like that. So a lot of these really, I'm going to, like last night I'll be doing some re-listening because it was songs I love. Tonight, because there was just, I'm sure, you're going to need a listen or two on the Carini and Light. Probably as well with the Sandpiper. All right, 2 nights in Alpharetta, only 3 to go. All right, I'm sure those 3, and yes, we are at that point where we're repeating songs. It's look, the first repeat, and it wasn't bad. Maybe a better ring than the first time around. All right, boom. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to the P-Fish. Thanks to P-Fish for getting it done on a nightly basis. All right, we're struggling to get words out. We're struggling to get words out, people. You know what that means? Boom, spark the shoppy. Spark the shoppy and bail. Love you. Boom. Thanks for hanging in there with me, even on nights when I can't speak. Sharpie in the air, Whew. It's like that guy in Apocalypse Now. In the morning. This is at night. Sharpie at night. It's a good night. How was it? I don't know. Go in there and take a big whiff in the room. That's how you know how it was around here. If it smells like Sharpie, you guys idiots. I think I'm the idiot around here, really. Boom.